Are you planning a tour to Russia but don't know where to start and how to plan? Don't worry, stick around, I will show you how to do it. If you're traveling to Russia for the first time, it can be pretty confusing. Don't know where to start, uh, what to expect in Russia. So this is where I come in. This is where I come in to help you to make sure that you have a good time in Russia and you know what to expect when you are in Russia. Okay, so let's begin. So, before you even land in Russia, you need to prepare for a few things, and this is what you should know before going. First of all, flights. Okay, so as of March 2020, well, now the flights are all shut down because of the coronavirus. But what was normally happening before the virus was Aeroflot, which is the national airline of Russia, was flying from Delhi to Moscow direct. Um, so if you're looking for a direct flight from India, then Aeroflot will probably be the only option. There are other options from other cities and from Delhi which go via different countries. Okay, so depending on the airline, so Emirates, Air Arabia, Etihad, and many others go to Moscow or St. Petersburg. But if you're planning to go directly, as of now, there is only Aeroflot which flies from Delhi only. But because of the increase in tourism from India, they are now planning to launch direct flights from Mumbai also. So that will happen after this coronavirus thing dies down. Okay, so Aeroflot is it's a decent airline. I wouldn't say it's as good as Singapore Airlines or Emirates or Etihad and all, but it's safe and it's pretty okay. It's not a very bad airline. Flights can be cheap or expensive depending on the time you book your flights. So the earlier you book, if you plan it a few months in advance, you can even get it for like about 26,000 return ticket from Delhi to Moscow and back. Otherwise, it can go up to like 35,000 is an average where people manage to get the flight for. But if you're smart and if you're organized, then you can get it for much cheaper, between 25 and 30,000 if you plan it a few months in advance. For visa, you need a visa for traveling to Russia. It's not so difficult to get a visa for Russia like America or UK, Australia. It's just a little bit of paperwork, documentation, which you can do on your own. I can give you the links in the description if you want to plan it on your own. Or if you go through a travel agent, you can give him the documents and pay him some service charges. So depending on an average, if you do it through an agent, depending on the agent in different cities, they will charge you anywhere between 6 to 7,000 for everything together, including the service cost and the visa. The thing is, for Russian visa, you need a letter from the Russian travel agency who's basically taking a guarantee that you're coming to Russia and this is your itinerary, and so it's a little bit of paperwork required for in that case. So even if you go online and if you just Google like Russian visa letter, you will find some agencies just giving you the letter for like $10 or $20, and with that you can apply on your own in the consulate or embassy in your city. So it doesn't take too long, maybe a week's time to get the visa. I don't think anybody will have any problems getting the visa unless they have a bad history of other visa getting rejected and all. But other than that, I think most people should get the visa. Okay, so you've got the visa, you've booked your flights, now you're preparing to go. So before you even get on the plane, you need to know a few things. Okay, this will help you when you're in Russia. First of all, carry a universal travel adapter. Okay, so because the plugs and the points of the electrical system in the hotels everywhere, they're different to the ones in India. So if you go without the adapter, then you will not be able to charge your phones and cameras and etc. And if you buy it in Russia, it's obviously available, but it'll be more expensive, and then you'll have to go looking around on the day you arrive and all. You'll be stressed. So it only costs like 100 rupees or 150 depending on the brand, or even better ones if you go on Amazon. If you just type in a universal travel adapter, you will find many. So make sure you're carrying that for Russia. It will not only help you for Russia, but it's universal. So whenever you travel next to any other country in the world, anywhere, it will work over there. So it works in more than 100 countries. Okay, so it's very cheap, and you should definitely have it in your travel kit as a permanent thing in your travel kit. Then you've got the adapter, and then you need to first check the weather. So whatever season you're planning to go, Russia is good for all seasons. Okay, so people are scared in going to Russia in winter, but that's not true, because I have been in Russia in winter and it's absolutely beautiful. Okay, it looks completely different to what it does in summer. Both are beautiful, but my preference is winter, because it just has a very like a magical feeling, like a fairy tale place. I mean, everything is covered in snow and everybody's dressed well, jackets and overcoats, and it's just a different feeling. And Russia, you always associate Russia with cold and winter, and you should see it in winter. But if you cannot handle the cold, because it can go down to like -30 in Moscow, 25 and 30. Normally it goes down to like 10 average, but some days if you're unlucky, then it'll go down to -30 also. In St. Petersburg, it's very like cold winds and all. So if you're not like comfortable with winter, yeah, then go in summer. Only thing in summer is that there will be so many people and overcrowded. That will be one of the problems. But other than that, any time of the year is actually good to go to Russia. So it's a misconception that you can't go to Russia in the winters. After checking the weather, you need to also pack accordingly. So sometimes when I have noticed, because I lead tours in Russia, I notice that people, even though when they're coming in winter, they don't bring proper clothes and jackets and shoes and everything. So make sure you're wearing some good quality shoes, because the ground can be slippery with all the snow and everything. So regular sneakers like Adidas, Nikes and all, they will work, but they will not be comfortable, and you have a chance of slipping down. So better wear some good ones. Like you can go to Decathlon and buy some good shoes, and also jackets and all, which will keep you really warm. You can wear in layers. You can wear a fleece inside, something like this, a thin fleece, and then you can put a sweater inside and then a jacket. And if it's getting too warm, you can just take out the jacket and you can still have something inside to be warm. So dress properly in the winters especially. Then you need to carry money to, obviously, for your expenses there, but do not carry Indian money. Okay, because Indian money is not exchanged officially in Russia, so banks will not change Indian money. So it's better you carry major world currencies like US dollars, pounds, euros. These are the three obviously main ones. Other ones will also work, major ones, but stick to these three, it'll be easier. And just make sure if you're carrying US dollars, do not carry the old US dollars of the 2006 series. Okay, those are not valid in Russia. So make sure that you have the new ones, the ones which has a very blue prominent line in the middle. So that's okay, but the old ones they will not accept in the bank. So again, I've seen people come to Russia and get stuck. ATMs are available all over Russia, and you can use your India bank ATM and credit cards in the machines, so that will not be a problem. MasterCard, Maestro, Visa, only Rupee will not work. The new one from India, Rupee, that will not work. So make sure you're carrying either Visa, Master, Maestro, something like that, now you also have your money. Then what you need is a SIM card. Okay, so you need a SIM card in Russia with data, because in Russia you will need to take taxis if you're on your own. you want to go for sightseeing or shopping or anything, anywhere you want to travel within Moscow or St. Petersburg or anywhere else, you will need a taxi. And if you take a taxi just from the street and just stop a taxi and say okay and get in, even if it has a meter, I'm 99% sure that you're going to get cheated and scammed. Okay, so it's a big problem in Russia. So do not go with anybody at the airport wearing like a taxi official taxi tag or anything like that, because it's a big scam, and people have ended up paying like 10 times the amount, 20 times the amount. So I would suggest you download two apps in your phones, Android or iPhone, doesn't matter. One is called Yandex Taxi, and the other one is called Get Taxi, Gett, Get Taxi and Yandex Taxi. These are the two main apps. They have others also, but if you stick to these two, no problem. These are like the Ola and Uber apps in India, and if you can use Ola and Uber in India, you will understand how to use those in Russia. So make sure you download that and use your data when you're out shopping and all to book taxis and everything. You'll need to put in your mobile number, and you will get a OTP, and then only you can log into the app. Now sometimes the Indian number does not work in these apps. It has happened a few times where you don't get the OTP on the India number, so then there is no option, but you need to get a local SIM card, and the local SIM card is actually very cheap. So you can, now most people would like to activate their roaming from India, like on Airtel, Vodafone, Jio, whatever. That is one option, but it's expensive, and if you're not too fussed about keeping your own number and about calls to your number and all, you can keep your roaming on just for like 149 rupees, and you can still see people who are calling you and still receive SMSs free of cost. But you can reply to them on WhatsApp, because if you buy a local SIM card in Russia, there are four major companies: Beeline, Megaphone, Tele2, and MTS. So when you land at the airport, you just go out and there are these stalls of all these people. So you can buy a SIM card, and depending on the scheme, prices keep changing around the year. But on an average, say for about 700 or 800 Indian rupees, you will get a SIM card which will have unlimited data or enough data for your holiday, and you can use WhatsApp for calling and for video calling and everything. So, and for your taxi and everything. So definitely you should get a local SIM card. It's so cheap and so easy to use, and to make local calls also, if you want to call the hotels or anybody or your local guide or whatever. So it's very important to have a local number. Other than that, one more thing I forgot. When you arrive at the immigration at Moscow airport or St. Petersburg airport, make sure that they will give you a immigration slip, which when you put your passport when you give your passport to the immigration officer, he will give you a immigration slip printed, and you need to keep that at all times with you in your passport. Okay, because without that you will not get a room in the hotel, because the hotel needs to take a photocopy of that immigration slip. And also when you're leaving Russia, you need to show and give back that immigration slip. They will take it at the airport on departure. But if you have lost it, it's going to be a major problem. Okay, you can't even imagine, like there are different theories what can happen. So to be honest, no one has got the right answer. Even if you Google, there are so many different answers, but this is what I have tried and tested, and it has worked. So some people say there is a fine and different things. So the best thing to do if you lose it in case is you go to the Indian embassy or Indian consulate, and with your passport and your documents, everything, and with your passport photograph, and tell them you have lost it. And then they will give you a letter saying a no objection certificate, saying that okay, this person is officially here in Russia and has lost it, the immigration slip, and please allow him to leave the country. So this is one thing which you need to be very careful about. Okay, the immigration slip. Then now you've got your money, you've got your immigration slip done, you've got your SIM card, and now you are using the taxi app to get to your hotel from the airport. Now, the Moscow airport is about 45 minutes to 1 hour from the city. It's called Sheremetyevo Airport, and the best way to come into the city from the airport would be to take the Aero Express train, the shuttle train from the airport, which operates every few minutes. So you can buy the tickets on the spot over there. It's for 500 rubles express, and it comes into Belaruskaya station into the city. Now this is okay if you are like one person, then it saves money and time. But what happens if you're like two people or three people or four people? Then it doesn't make sense to take the Air Express, because for each person you're paying 500, and if you take a taxi on the apps, the Yandex Taxi and the Get Taxi apps, from the airport to the city, on an average it should be 1000 rubles depending on the location of your hotel, but city center is about 1000 rubles or 1200 rubles. So it's better to just go outside and book a taxi and uh, go by taxi, because then you don't have to take your luggage to the Aero Express station and then taking the train, taking it out, all that. So better to take a taxi. If two or more people, then it makes sense to take a taxi. So now you arrived at the hotel. Now there are many hotels obviously in Russia. But the best place to stay in Moscow would be somewhere near the Red Square, or at least near the metro station, because the metro is very, very big and it has more than 300 stations. It is all over Moscow. And if you're staying next to a metro station, it doesn't matter, because you can just take the metro to the city center, and you will be there in about 15-20 minutes depending on the location. So sometimes it makes sense to stay away from the city and stay in a cheap hotel, if you're on a budget, than to stay right in the center. In the metro, you can use something called like a Troika card. It's like a card which is used in the trams, in the buses, in the metro. So everywhere it is used. Many countries have this system, a Troika card, and you can buy it from the station, and you can just give a little deposit. I think it's about 50 rubles for the deposit, and then rest whatever you put on top, and then you get the deposit back when you are leaving. So the Troika card is very good and very easy to use. Otherwise, every time you go in the metro, if you're planning to take metros a lot, then it will be a problem, because every time you have to buy tickets with exact change from the machine, or wait in line for the counter and all that. So make sure you get the Troika card. It's just easier and faster. Okay. So now you've done with the hotel. And hotels, I mean, depending on your budget and what you like, there are hotels for all people. So 3-star, 4-star, 5-star. Airbnb has got some excellent options. Booking.com has got some excellent hostels. So on an average, if you're staying in a hostel, a decent hostel will cost you about 1000 rupees or ruble, a decent one. And if you're staying in a hotel, average 3-star hotel, maybe starting from 3000 rupees if you stay in a 3-star, and going upwards, sky's the limit. So yeah, but on an average, if you want to calculate your budget, for a decent 3-star hotel, say 3 to 4,000 rupees for a good hotel, for family kind of a hotel, you should get in Moscow. Okay. Then what should I talk about? Okay, so the people of Russia. I'm not sure if you heard this, but a lot of people think that the people of Russia are unfriendly, or they don't smile and always grumpy and all that. That's not true, because I have been there for 2 years, and I have made some very good friends. And the problem is they're a bit different to other people, because yes, they don't smile unnecessarily. So like, for example, many countries like America, India, like people they strike up conversations with strangers, and they are very like outgoing and extrovert and all that. So yeah, so the people of Russia, they don't do that, but at the same time that doesn't mean that they are unfriendly or grumpy. If you know them, if you get to know them, if you meet them through somebody, or if you meet them someplace and talk to them, if you are lost and if you want to ask them for some help, yes, they will help you and they will do their best to help you out. And it's only thing that they don't just unnecessarily smile, acknowledge people for no reason. So that's the only thing. Other than that, I can assure you that they are very nice people, very friendly, very helpful. If you know them, get to know them, or make an effort to know them. What else? Okay, nightlife. Nightlife in Moscow. I'm going in random order, whatever I can think of. So, I mean, so forgive me for that, but I'm just trying to say whatever comes to my mind about Russia. So nightlife in Russia, not only in Moscow but also in St. Petersburg and other cities, is very, very vibrant, very energetic, fun, and yes, so it has nightclubs, it has pole dancing, strip joints. It has got everything basically for a person who loves to party. And there are many, many clubs and many discos all around in Moscow and St. Petersburg. Um, you can choose by checking online top 10 bars or pubs or nightclubs in Moscow or St. Petersburg, and they can choose. Yeah, and so that should not be a problem. Other than that, food. A lot of Indians want to have Indian food. So yes, there are restaurants in Moscow and St. Petersburg which have Indian restaurants. So there are like 5 to 6 restaurants in each city which are very popular and been there for like 20 to 25 years, and a lot of Indians visit them, and the food is pretty good. I have been there and I have tried it. Um, I will cover more details about Moscow and St. Petersburg in detail when I'm doing a separate video on Moscow and on St. Petersburg. Right now, I just wanted to give you an idea about how to plan your trip and what to expect in Russia. Other than that, details of Moscow and St. Petersburg will come later. Okay, so food, Indian food is available, and if you want to try Russian food, uh, okay, Russian food, a lot of people think it's not tasty and bland and like no masala and all that. Okay, so it is definitely not as spicy, and it doesn't have so many different flavors like how we have in Indian food, but you can't say it is bad. I am I'm a big fan of Russian food, and I have it every day when I'm in Russia. So what you will get, the most famous dish over there is called borscht, which is a beetroot soup. Okay, it can be veg or non-veg. Russia is mainly non-veg, but yes, you do get vegetarian food also. So borscht is one main dish. Second you can get is pelmeni, which is like dumplings. Vareniki, which is like same like dumplings but slightly different. Then you will get steaks, big steaks, um, potatoes. A lot of dishes with potatoes, mashed potatoes. They love potatoes, and Russian salads. I mean, this is amazing. The Russian salad. They have vegetarian salads and non-vegetarian salad. They are excellent. They're very healthy, and Russian people have salads with every meal. With their lunch, with their dinner, every meal salad has to be there. Okay, so do try the salads over there. There are different varieties. I will cover food in detail in a separate video for Russia, food in Russia. Other than that, what else? It will be helpful if you learn a few words if you go to Russia, and even if you can't speak like fluently Russian, but carry your mobile Google Translate app in the mobile, and make sure you download it before you reach Russia, so that even if you don't have internet connection, if you download the dictionary, then you can even in offline mode even translate sentences and everything, words in from English to Russian. So learn a few words like simple, like basic things like good morning, dobre utra, good day, dobre din, or spasiba, thank you, Kap dila, how are you, privyet, hello. So just simple basic 4 or 5 words. I mean, if you travel anywhere in the world and if you make an effort to speak their local language, even if it is a few words and even if it is wrong and you say it incorrectly, people really appreciate it, and they really love it that somebody is making an effort to talk in their language. And I always try to do that. I mean, even if I don't know the language, I will at least learn like at least 8 to 10 basic words which I know I will be using in daily life on my holidays. So make sure you learn a little bit, and if you can't learn it or remember it, then definitely you have your Google Translate with you. Okay. What else? So yeah, so I think I've pretty much covered the most of the things I wanted to talk about. Just to give you a general idea about what to expect in Russia. Also, if you're in Moscow, do not miss the metro, because it's not like any other metro in the world. Like I've been in metros in many countries and all over the world, in America, in other places also. But the metro in Russia is amazing, especially the one in Moscow, because the stations are beautiful. They look like palaces. And they have a metro tour also, which you can join, or you can do it on your own. In the Moscow video, which I will make again, there I will mention about which stations are very good to see and what you should see in the metro tour. But just for general idea now, if you're in Moscow, don't miss going into the metro. Things to see, what to do, where to eat, all these things I will be covering in a special video on Moscow and another one on St. Petersburg. For now, this is just an idea about planning a trip and what to expect in Russia. One more thing, if you're going to Russia, make sure you're not carrying very heavy luggage, okay? Because as Indians, we all have a habit of carrying big suitcases. The problem is there are very limited porters in the hotels and everywhere, and in fact, I don't even see them most of the time. So everywhere you go, at the airport or in the hotel, from the lobby to the room, or at the train station, getting it on the train, getting it out of the train, you will need to carry your luggage everywhere. And distances can be long. Taxi might drop you at one place, but you might have to walk for a bit to get into the train station. So the idea is travel lightly and don't carry heavy luggage. If you forget something or if you're missing something, you can always buy it in Russia. Russia is a very budget-friendly destination. Okay, so compared to US, UK, Canada, Australia, Singapore, Hong Kong, it's much cheaper. I would say pretty similar to Indian standards, like what we are used to, the prices in India. It's pretty much the same of everything, for hotels, for restaurants, for shopping, for everything. For shopping, what you should buy is definitely you should check out the Russian chocolates. They are one of the best in the world and they're very cheap. There is a company called Red October, and which has a baby on the face of the chocolates, and the name of the brand is Olenka. So Alonka. So those are very good. But if you go to any supermarket, you will see so many different types of chocolates, and they're so cheap and they're so good. They make excellent gifts for people back home, for family, friends, colleagues. So chocolates, you should definitely pick up a lot of chocolates. Other than that, Russian vodka, everybody knows the vodka is one of the best in the world. So they have different types of vodka, like hundreds of different types of vodka. So which one to buy, I will be putting in the next video. Just for now, I'll tell you a couple of names. One is Russian Standard and one is Beluga. These two are the two top ones, but there are many which I will be covering in my next video. Other than that, okay, drinking, while we are on the alcohol part, just want to remind you that drinking in public places is strictly not allowed. You can't be having a beer in the garden or having a drink outside the bar and smoking and all that. So it's officially not allowed, and police are very strict. So they might come up to you and they will ask you for your passport and they'll fine you or take a bribe or whatever. It's just better idea not to get into drinking on the streets. Okay, in the pubs, there are many pubs. Yes, if you want to smoke, you come outside, leave your glass and come outside and smoke. For smokers, yes, I mean, cigarettes are available. in the supermarkets everywhere. Only thing is you can't see them because they're hidden behind a cupboard somewhere. So you need to ask the lady at the supermarket that you want cigarettes. Then she'll open the cupboard and then you need to choose which one you want. And they're actually quite cheap. So they're probably half rate from whatever you get in India. So even the Marlboro cigarettes are half price, and even Russia has a lot of brands of cigarettes, so very cheap. It can start from 100 rupees a packet, but it won't be so great. But yes, it's possible to buy cigarettes very cheap in Russia. Other than that, you can, for souvenirs, you can buy the Russian Matryoshka doll, which is very popular. You must have seen in the movies or somewhere or heard about them. There's like this big dolls, which when you open one doll, there is another one inside, and then there's another one inside, there's another one inside. So you have a like 7 to 8 or even more dolls in one. So from all they start very small and they go up to like the big one. So that's a very popular thing to buy, and prices can depend on the quality. So hand painted, how big, how small, from which shop you buy, all that. So, yeah, but if a decent one, if you buy a good quality, average decent one, like not high quality, but if you look in the thing, you'll get it for about 1,000 rupees. You'll get a good one. They make good gifts also, so that is very popular to buy. Other than that, porcelain is very popular over there. Then shawls are very popular. A lot of things. I will be covering more in detail about each city, what is popular in each city. Okay. What else? Am I missing something? I think that's all for now. I've just made this video without any preparation. I just thought like, okay, let me just talk about Russia and how to plan a trip. So I hope you have found this information helpful, and it will help you for your travels. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. You can hit the subscribe button and also click on the bell icon, which will notify you about my new videos coming up. So I'll be putting up more videos about not only Russia, but about many countries. I have been to like 53 of them, so I'll be sharing a lot of knowledge and ideas and tips and tricks on traveling to these countries, and also on motorbiking tours, which I do on my own. So make sure you click on the subscribe button, and if you think I have left out any information which you think might help you to plan your trip, you can comment in the comment box below and ask me your questions, or you can even email me at hanifsama@gmail.com and ask me your questions, and I'll reply to them as soon as I can. And that's it for now. Thank you very much for watching such a long video. If you have lasted till here, it's a long video, I understand, but I thought this will help you in your planning. So that's it for now, and subscribe to the channel, so when I come out with my Moscow and St. Petersburg videos, you will get more information on Russia. And if you have any doubts about visas or anything, you can also ask me directly on email or something. I can try to help you with your visas also, or with accommodation or anything like that. So let me know, whatever, if you have anything, just talk to me. And I hope everybody is at home and staying safe and healthy, and I wish you all the best, and I hope this virus thing ends soon, and then we are back again in our regular lives. And I'm waiting because I'm desperate to travel. Okay, so that's it for now. All the best, and thank you again for watching. Bye.